Okay, now we're ready to play a game with Doppelkopf. I've just dealt out 12 cards each in batches of 3, which is the convention. The first thing you need to know is, how do you know who your partner is in Doppelkopf? Well, actually you don't know who your partner is at the start of the hand. You find out as the cards are played. The two partnerships are called Re and Contra. The Re team consists of the two players that have the Queens of Clubs. So I'm the dealer, I've just dealt this hand and it's got a Queen of Clubs, so I am part of the Re team. And it just turns out that the player to my right hand side also has the other Queen of Clubs, so they're part of the Re team. So that means that the other two players who don't have any Queens of Clubs are not part of the Re team, they are part of the Contra team. So it's Re v Contra. Okay. Both teams have as their objective to get to 121 points, when in fact, in order to win, the Re team has to get to 121 points. 120 points is sufficient for the Contra team, because they've got a slight disadvantage not having two of the highest trumps. Okay, before we get going, we have to just determine firstly whether everyone wants to play a normal game or whether they want to play a solo game, or something called a marriage or poverty, which I'll come on to later. In this case, looking at the hands, there's nothing particularly extraordinarily strong or weak or different about them. So everyone would say, in clockwise around the dealer, gesund or healthy. What that means is, so gesund, 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 gesund. What that means is we're playing a normal game and the first player to the left of the dealer leads off. Okay, strategy wise, the best leads early in a game of Doppelkopf are typically a black ace, especially a black ace that's not got many other cards in the same suit in your hand. The reason being that the black ace is the least likely. It's got a lot of points attached to it, 11 points. It's going to capture some more points because it's the lead card. Also, the order of the cards is important. So if two aces are played to say I lead the ace of spades, and the other ace of spades is played to the same trick. It's the first ace of spades that's played to the trick that wins the trick. Yeah. So you want to be leading with the aces. You do not want to have to be following with aces, because you may end up somebody else capturing your ace. All right. So it's good to lead a black ace, followed by the ace of hearts. Ace of hearts is much more likely to be trumped the first time round because there are only 6 hearts in the pack, because the 2 tens of hearts are part of the trump suit. Alright, so I'm going to lead with ace of spades. Before I do so, just to show that I've put all the trumps from lowest here in my hand, the king of diamonds, up to the highest in my hand, which is the queen of hearts, all together. So that's all the trumps together, and then the side suits are just there. So it's good to organise your hand. Don't organise it in the same side. Don't put the trumps on the same side all the time, because people will gradually get to know where you put your trumps, and then they'll be able to infer things from that. Okay, here goes. Ace of spade led. As with most other trick taking games, you must follow the suit of the first card that's led to a trick, if you have one. If you do not have a card from the same suit as the person who led the trick, you may either trump it or discard a card. And in this game, obviously trumping it is natural. If you want to win the trick, and especially if it's off the opponent's, discarding is quite important. You want to try and discard a high point scoring card, like a 10 or an ace or something, if you think your partner's going to win the trick, and you want to discard a low card, like for instance a 9 or king or something, if you think your opponents are going to win the trick. Now in this case, I don't know who my partner is yet, so I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to follow suit with the 9 of spades. Okay. So this person here is looking at this, and well, the decision's made for them because they've only got 1 spade. So there you go. At least they can trump on the second time round. And dealer, well, I'm not going to give away my ace, so they can have the king. Alright, so forehand, who's the first player to the left of the dealer, has won the first trick. Now the first player who wins the trick leads to the next trick. That's the rule. Okay. Now I would then start leading through my aces if I had any more, but I haven't got any more aces. So ignore those ace of diamonds. We'll come back to those later. Those are parts of the trump suit, yes? So they're relatively lowly trumps because they've got all the jacks and queens and the tens of hearts under them. So you wouldn't want to be risking them at this point. Got no more aces left. I could lead I've got a choice here. I could either lead a trump and try and find out who someone from the re-team is. So at least I would be able to spot one of my opponents because I'm part of the contra team. Or I could lead either one of the clubs or the heart and hope that the player to my left is my partner. I'm going to try that. So I'll lead the 9 of hearts. It turns out that the player to my left is my partner, but I don't know that yet. Okay, ace of hearts. So actually, my partner is now hitting the trick. I just don't know it's my partner. Now, the dealer has no hearts. Ignore the queen of, ignore the jack of hearts there. That's part of the trump suit. Remember, I mean they've got no hearts in the side suit hearts. Hence, they can trump. And what would they trump with? Well, they've got two options here. You could either trump with the queen of clubs to show your partner who you are, to show to the re-team who you are, or, and perhaps this would be the better choice here, you could trump with the 10 of diamonds, and then not only would you get your 10 of diamonds home, so say rescue 10 points, but you also capture all these points at the table. So there you go, trump it with the 10 of heart, 10 of diamonds. Now what? So spades has been led once, so to lead the ace of spades again would be a bit risky so far. I will wait to know who my partner is to get that ace to them. So I'm going to lead with the ace of clubs because no clubs have been led yet. Okay. Player to my left still doesn't know who partnerships are, so plays it safe. Player opposite has no choice but to play their 10 of clubs. Singleton 10s of 10s are very vulnerable in this game. They're going to get one straight away. And the last player to the trick plays that. Okay, so the clubs have gone around once. So I won that trick. So now what? Okay, what would be a good lead now? So I've got a couple of options, but I think probably it's now good to switch to trumps. I'm part of the re-team. Re-team will tends to be stronger in trumps just because they've got the queens of clubs, and they tend to have more trumps. So I'm going to lead with the trump. A middling trump, jack of hearts. How would I respond to that? This player to the left, well, probably try and force out a queen of clubs. Let's see what happens. I'm going to throw away. Okay, so this player won that trick with the queen of diamonds. Alright, now I want to show the significance of these aces. Now this is not a conventional lead. No, let's not do that. Okay. Now, these are special, these cards. The two aces of diamonds are called the foxes. That's the fox. If your opponents capture one of your foxes, they get an extra bonus point, whether or not they they score the maximum point value for the hand. Yeah, so you want to get those home as safely as safely as you possibly can. So whenever you think you or your partner is almost certain to win it, play it. Okay? So leading them now would almost certainly lure out one of the queens of clubs, and you could hope that your partner's then got a 10 of hearts, but that's just too risky. Typically only Re would lead with an ace of diamonds, and only when they've also got both 10s of hearts. So I'm going to lead spades again, which immediately puts my partner, who doesn't know it, in trouble. Over here, trump that one. And I lose my ace of spades there. So, now this is probably not what I would normally do, but actually yes, it is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to lead a trump. So remember, I'm part of the Re team. I'm going to lead a trump, lowest trump. I'm now going to show my partner that, look, I am your partner. Finally. So I played my queen of clubs, so now my partner knows who I am. The contrary players know who they're playing against, at least one of their opponents. Now at this stage, I have to play a trump. Now, if I can take a risk with one of my ace of diamonds. I'm unlikely to get both of them home. This could be a chance of getting one of them home if my partner is to my left and has the 10 of hearts. If my partner isn't to my left and they just throw away another high card, I'll know that they're not the member of the Re team. I'm hoping that the player to my left is my partner and will therefore trump that straight away. Over trump the queen of clubs with the 10 of hearts. Sure enough, that's precisely what they do. That's a very, very good use of the 10 of hearts. Making sure you either capture an ace of diamonds or protect your own ace of diamonds. Okay. And I now strongly suspect, as a contra player, that this player over here is contra, because otherwise why would they have used their top trump to over trump a trick that Re was already winning? That wouldn't have made any sense. Okay. So we pretty much know who the partnerships are, but we don't know for certain yet, so we should still keep our tricks separate. Okay. Now I'm going to carry on playing this, and then we'll tot up the points and see what happens at the end. Okay.